Welcome to all my dear online students. As you are all aware about the present pandemic, dreadful disease COVID-19, which has started from China and has spread almost every nook and corner of the world. This is a very dreadful disease. In this regard, our school management, that is the school management of Army Goodwill Public School, has directed all the teachers to start online classes for our young minds. In this regard, I, Mr. Vani Sattar, PGT Chemistry, will start today's session with one of the most important chapter of chemistry, that is periodic classification of elements. Periodic classification of elements. You know guys, why I selected this chapter? Because this chapter will cover up two classes, that is 10th as well as 11th. That is why I selected this very chapter for first session, periodic classification of elements. This chapter will give us idea about the description of elements, that some important terms can be explained in this chapter, like what are metals, what are non-metals, what are metalloids, what are typical elements, what are representative elements, what are bridge elements, what are diagonal relationship elements, and what are the S block elements, P block elements, D block elements, and F block elements. In this chapter, we will also discuss the properties of elements. Properties of elements. Properties of elements like valence electrons, valency, ionization energy or ionization enthalpy. It is also called ionization enthalpy. Electron affinity, electron gain enthalpy, electron gain enthalpy, electronegativity, etc. These are the various properties that we are going to discuss in this very chapter. So let us start from the headline of this chapter, that is periodic classification of elements. This chapter consists of three parts. Periodic classification of elements. You might have heard in the earlier classes, like in junior classes, 9th class, you might have heard about what is element. And in the previous class, I also told you, when we were at school, at that time I told you that what are elements. The term element, was firstly used by Robert Boyle. And A. Lavoisier is the first scientist, is the first who defined the element? Defined the element. जो सबसे पहली डिफिनेशन एलिमेंट की थी वो एल लवाइशियर ने दी, जिसको हम फादर ऑफ मॉडर्न केमिस्ट्री भी कहते हैं, फादर ऑफ मॉडर्न केमिस्ट्री एल लवाइशियर। उसने क्या बताया एलिमेंट के बारे में? उसने बताया एलिमेंट is the basic little bit idea about elements. Now I'm going to introduce you why they felt the need of classification of elements. हमें जरूरत क्यों पड़ी एलिमेंट्स को क्लासिफाई करने के लिए? किस चीज ने हमें मजबूर किया कि एलिमेंट्स को क्लासिफाई किया जाए? फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल आई विल गिव यू लिटिल बिट आइडिया। 18वीं सदी के शुरुआत में, इन द बिगिनिंग ऑफ question is why there felt the need of classification of elements, and the answer is क्योंकि शुरुआत में पहले अयाम में 18वीं सदी के पहले दौर में जो एलिमेंट्स की तादाद थी वो बहुत कम थी। ओनली 31 एलिमेंट्स वर अवेलेबल एट दैट टाइम। और हमारे लिए, साइंटिस्ट्स के लिए, उन एलिमेंट्स को स्टडी करना, उनकी केमिस्ट्री को जानना, उनके कंपाउंड्स की प्रॉपर्टीज को जानना, उनकी केमिस्ट्री को जानना, वो बहुत आसान था, बहुत सिंपल था। मगर विद द एडवेंट ऑफ टाइम, विद द पैसेज ऑफ रिफ्रैक्टिव इंडेक्स एटसेट्रा, everything should be same. तो यह है डिफिनेशन एलिमेंट की। एलिमेंट इज अ प्योर सबस्टेंस विच इज मेड अप ऑफ ओनली वन काइंड ऑफ एटम्स। फॉर एग्जांपल, मैंने यहाँ पे एग्जांपल के तौर पे समझाया सोडियम एलिमेंट। ये खाली किन एटम्स का बना है? सोडियम एटम्स का बना है। और रेडियो एक्टिविटी द्वारा जो डिफिनेशन डिस्कार्ड की गई पहली, क्योंकि रेडियो एक्टिविटी से हमें पता चला कि एलिमेंट खुद छोटे छोटे ज़रों का बना है, जिनको हम क्या बोलते हैं? एटम्स। दैट इज वाई दैट definition has been discarded and new definition has been given, that is element is a pure substance which is made up of only one kind of atoms. This is the definition of element. After that, these elements have been classified on the basis of state, physical state. On the basis of physical state, these elements have been classified into three types: solid metal elements, liquid, and gaseous elements. Most of the elements which are presently, there are 118 elements, almost there are 118 elements. Most of the elements are present in solid form. Most of the elements. लिक्विड फॉर्म में खाली दो ही एलिमेंट्स अभी अवेलेबल है, ब्रोमीन एंड मर्करी। ब्रोमीन नॉन मेटल है और मर्करी मेटल है। गैसियस फॉर्म में ऑलमोस्ट 11 है, ऑलमोस्ट 11। इसमें नोबल गैसेस आते हैं, नोबल गैसेस, हीलियम, नियॉन, आर्गन, क्रिप्टॉन, जीनॉन एंड रेडॉन। इसके अलावा इसमें आता है हाइड्रोजन, ऑक्सीजन, नाइट्रोजन, फ्लोरीन, क्लोरीन, ये सब इसमें आते हैं। 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 and 11. These element, you all are aware now what are elements, and you must have read in junior classes, like in 9th class, how elements are represented. Elements are represented The representation of elements is like this: X, and on the extreme lower left there is Z, and on the extreme upper left there is A. X represents symbol of element. A represents atomic mass और mass number भी हम इसको बोलते हैं, mass number. And Z represents atomic number. This is the representation of element. And for example, if I am going to write here an element, suppose hydrogen is represented as in the form of symbol H, and 1 is the atomic number and 1 is its mass number. This is the representation of the atom of the element hydrogen. This is the representation of the atom of the hydrogen element. And this is the representation of the atom of the sodium element, 1123. This is the representation. This is how we are going to represent the element. Now our chapter is periodic classification of elements. Now you are aware about the idea. Now you are aware now what are elements and how they are represented, how physically they have been classified into 3 types: solid elements, liquid elements, gaseous elements. Most of the elements in the periodic table are solids. 11 elements almost are gases and 2 are liquids. Bromine is a non-metallic liquid. Mercury is a metallic liquid. Gaseous elements include noble gases: helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon and radon. Also it includes hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, fluorine and chlorine. These are the gaseous elements. Now why they are building